know something that people don't tell you when you buy a mini fridge that you want to keep on your room just to have a cold drink on tap? What they don't tell you is those fridges, since they're so small, they build up condensation more easily than a normal-sized refrigerator does. And if you don't clean that water out that builds up on top, it drips. And it drips all over your beverages. So I'm sitting here with a half-drenched bottle of Strawberry Watermelon Prime, here to talk about First Blood. Hello everyone, welcome back to Home Media Reviews. It's been a good 2 weeks since I've talked to you guys. I missed you. How have y'all been? Have you watched Terminator 2 yet? Because you should. As I said earlier, we're here to talk about First Blood, the first film in the Rambo movie franchise. We'll talk about this more later, but First Blood is very different from the other two films in this franchise. Most people know Rambo as this jacked super soldier type character that just kills anyone that's in front of him. And yes, that is true in the sequels. Like I said, we'll talk about that more later when I actually review the movie. For now, though, let's jump into the history section of First Blood. So First Blood hit theaters on October 22nd, 1982. I don't think I need to say this, but no, I did not see this in theaters. I wasn't born yet. You'll notice for a lot of these movies in Season 5 of Home Media Reviews, I wasn't born when they came out. I first saw First Blood around the same time I saw the first Terminator film, I think. It was after I saw T2. I hadn't seen any of the Rambo movies, and I had picked up First Blood and its sequel, Rambo First Blood Part 2 from FYE. And I thought, this looks like fun. I've heard Rambo's good. I'll give this one a watch. And I'm going to be honest, I didn't like it the first time I saw it. I thought it was boring. Keep in mind, I was a relatively new film goer at that point. I was probably 15 or 16. And I was looking for something along the lines of Expendables 2 type of stupid. And First Blood, I'll admit, it was too smart for me. It went right over my head. I was like, this movie sucks. It is boring. I don't like it. I'm going to watch Rambo 2. And at that point, I thought Rambo 2 was the best movie ever made because Rambo 2 has more action than First Blood does. My opinion on that has thankfully changed as I have gotten older and my film tastes have changed along with my age. I say that like I'm some wise old sage. I'm turning 24 in July. I'm relatively young. I keep wanting to say Rambo First Blood, but it's just called First Blood. That's the first time I've done it in this recording. I'm going to try not to do it again. First Blood then hit VHS in 1983. Couldn't find a actual hard release date for it, but it was released by Thorn EMI Home Video. I note that because it's the same company that handled Terminator's early VHS releases. First Blood also got released on the CED format in 1983. Now, the CED, the Capacitance Electronic Disc, this was a weird format. We haven't talked about CEDs since Star Wars, when we talked about the original trilogy way back in Season 1. But for those of you that need a refresher, a CED is basically a giant LP vinyl record. But for video, not audio. It does play with a needle, though. Very odd. You can't really find a working CED player nowadays on the secondary market, and if you do, it's going to run you a pretty penny because these things, they were pretty huge. I mean, they had to work with a needle, so you had to have a lot of room in there to make sure the needle could read the disc. It just wasn't a viable format, and it didn't last very long on the home market. A VHS reprint then hit store shelves in 1985, also from Thorn EMI Home Video, and it was possibly released to tie in with First Blood Part 2's theatrical run. Speaking of the Laserdisc, the first time First Blood showed up on Laserdisc was in 1985. 1985. So there it is. There's a Laserdisc. Isn't it nice? In 1991, we got a pair of releases to talk about here, a VHS and a Laserdisc re-release. The VHS still stuck in full screen, but the Laserdisc was the first time you could watch First Blood in widescreen in your home. 1995 brings us another pair of releases. It's another VHS and Laserdisc re-release here, this time from Carolco Home Video, which also handled Terminator 2's release, I believe. I think I have that VHS tape. Also in 1995, the first VHS box set of all 3 Rambo films was released. It was called the Rambo Trilogy Set. So that's nice. You can get all 3 films in one little cohesive box set with some really nice artwork there. Sweet. Love it. Don't need any more box set reprints, even though we're gonna get a ton of them. The DVD of First Blood hit on October 21st, 1998. It uses the same poster art as the 1991 VHS release. I thought that was an interesting thing to note. They didn't create any new artwork for it. Oh, here's the first instance of a VHS box set reprint, because there was another VHS box set that came out on October 21st, 1998. It included all 3 films in widescreen. Finally, Rambo on VHS. You can watch it in widescreen now. I think the only way you could watch it was through this box set. I don't know if these were put out individually. The special edition, VHS/DVD, was put out on May 28th, 2002. No, I didn't get this confused with Star Wars. Rambo First Blood. Nope, there it is again. I said it again. That's 2. No, First Blood has a special edition, but not with any weird CGI changes. I think they just cleaned up the picture a bit. This has an American flag pattern on both of these covers. It's pretty cool. The trilogy was also re-released in a box set, not on VHS, but on DVD also on May 28th, 2002. It also has an American flag pattern on it. Sweet. The Ultimate Edition DVD hit on November 23rd, 2004. Get used to seeing this poster here, because you're going to be seeing it a lot from here on out. And look at that, another trilogy box set was also released on this day. Would you look at that? That's so fun. First Blood then hit Blu-ray on February 6th, 2007. You see that similar poster art there? Pretty much the same thing, except it doesn't have the blue banner on there. That says Ultimate Edition. Now it says 1080p beyond high definition, which would technically be 4K, because 1080p is HD. 4K is beyond HD. So there's a little marketing trick there for you. A week later, on February 13th, 2007, there was a DVD 2-pack that included First Blood and The Punisher from 2004. What do these movies have in common? Not a lot, but they were both released by Lionsgate, or at least Lionsgate nabbed the rights to the Rambo stuff at some point in time. Punisher was always a Lionsgate property. The Blu-ray trilogy set hit on May 28th, 2008. Get all 3 films in a little slipcase variant there. That's fun. I like those little 3-packs with the cardboard slip that goes over top of them. I don't know, it just makes me feel nice. There was also a DVD set that came out. This one was called the Rambo Complete Collection. It came in a tin case that had Rambo's knife on top of it. It's pretty cool. I am struggling to find things to say about these releases because they're pretty much all the same. There's not much variance here. On July 27, 2010, the Rambo Complete Collection got a reprint, but this time on Blu-ray, including all 4 of the Rambo films, because at this point, Rambo from 2008 was out, which is Rambo 4, but it's just called Rambo. It's confusing, but you should remember this from 2-3 weeks ago, because we talked about this in the Terminator retrospective that we did here on Home Media Reviews, the Legends Blu-ray 2-pack comes back to rear its ugly head. These were released to promote the first Expendables movie, and this Legends 2-pack hit on November 23rd, 2010. It's, of course, spotlighting Sylvester Stallone in First Blood and Rambo. Again, Rambo 4 is what that should have been called. It's like calling Rocky 6 Rocky Balboa. It's so stupid. Just put the number in the damn title. August 14th, 2012 brings us a Stallone 3-movie collection on both Blu-ray and DVD. And this collection included First Blood, Copland, and Lockup. I know of Copland. I think I've heard of Lockup. I don't know anything about those, though. Why not Rhinestone? Why couldn't that have been included here? You know what? How about this? Let's go back in time. Let's say I'm chief of Lionsgate Studios, and I'm picking out what movies that I'm going to put out in this Sylvester Stallone 3-pack. I'm choosing First Blood, Rhinestone, and Over the Top, baby. Although I don't know if Rhinestone and Over the Top are owned by Lionsgate, so maybe I'm not allowed to do that. But if I could, I would totally do that. November 24th, 2013 brings us a Best Buy exclusive steelbook with some pretty awesome artwork. This steelbook is not hard to find. I've seen it a bunch of times at Half Price Books and FYE and stuff like that. It's really not rare, but it is cool. A Blu-ray variant with a modern digital copy hit store shelves on February 24th, 2015. This one has new artwork, which keep your eye on because it might show up in a future release. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge. A DVD 4-pack hit on March 1st, 2016. This is one of those bland 4-packs like the Batman 4-pack or the Matrix 4-pack, stuff like that. It's a budget way to get your hands on all 4 Rambo films on a subpar format. But here they are. You can buy all of them if you don't have them. This 4-pack's probably not rare. October 2nd, 2018 brings us a retro VHS-styled Blu-ray. Terminator 2 also got this treatment. This is pretty cool. If I didn't already have First Blood at the time, I would have picked this copy up because I'm a sucker for retro-style VHS artwork. It hits me right where I live, so that's pretty awesome. November 13th, 2018 brings us a release with a lot of significance. It's the 4K release of First Blood, and like I said, uses the same poster art from the one from February of 2015. I said to keep your eye on that. And did you? The Rambo Complete collection got a reprint on Blu-ray on May 7, 2019. This is significant because it included a free ticket to go and see John Wick Chapter 3. Or it pays for most of your ticket if you live somewhere like, I don't know, California, where movie tickets cost $50 billion. February 11, 2020 brings us a weird release. This is the Rambo 5 movie collection Blu-ray. This included all 5 movies on 5 discs. Now, I mention that because there's another version of this out there. There's a Walmart exclusive variant of this 5-movie collection that only includes the first 4 movies on physical disc. The 5th movie, Rambo Last Blood, you have to redeem through Vudu. And that's the only way you can watch it because this was back when Walmart owned Vudu and they were really trying to push its customers to use Vudu. So if you bought this at Walmart, I bet it was cheaper than if you bought it anywhere else, but you didn't get Rambo Last Blood on a disc. You had to watch it through Vudu. That's just weird to me. See, why would you have a version of the 5-movie collection out there that has all 5 movies on 5 discs? But then you have this other version that's maybe a few bucks cheaper, but you have to watch the 5th movie, the one that everybody wants to see, on a streaming service. You have to redeem it through there, and that's the only way that you can watch it? You can't get it on a physical disc? I don't get it. Lionsgate redeemed themselves, though, on October 27th, 2020, because, I'm going to be honest, this is the best Rambo Complete set that you're ever going to find. It is the Best Buy exclusive 4K Steelbook set. This thing is magic. This has a very strong tin case that houses all of your steelbooks. It's not cheap. It's got amazing artwork to it, and each of the steelbooks look beautiful. They are kept in pristine shape inside of this tin box. It's amazing, and I wish I would have bought it at the time, because now it's really expensive. Like, really expensive. Am I going to pay the exuberant price on eBay for it? I'm going to be honest, I've thought about it a few times, but I'm not going to do that. At least not this year, because I have to be smart with what I do with my finances. I can't waste money on a 4K steelbook set. Why would I do that? Because it looks totally cool and I really want it. Anyway, in May of 2021, we got a Rambo 5 movie collection with simplistic artwork. It just has Rambo's bow and arrow from part 2 on it. Also from part 5, because he uses a bow and arrow in that movie to kill the main villain. Spoiler alert. This was a Walmart exclusive variant. Yippee. This is the one that has all 5 movies on discs. Luckily, that Vudu bullshit, that didn't last past 2020. So that's good. And I'm a Vudu subscriber. I like Vudu. A lot of my digital movies are housed on Vudu. I don't want my movie to just be on Vudu when I could get a physical copy and also have a digital copy as a backup. January 18th, 2022 brings us a Walmart exclusive slipcover variant for First Blood. This one I'm not sure if it exists, because I've never seen it. And also this next one, February 28th, 2023 brings us the 5 movie collection reprint with new artwork. Does this exist? Oh, the other thing that was exclusive to this 5-pack, it had a free ticket to go see John Wick 4. So if you bought this 5-pack, you could have knocked $8 off your price for a ticket. Which if you saw John Wick 4 opening night in IMAX like I did, you probably could have seen it for about $12 if you bought this 5-pack, because that ticket was expensive, but worth every penny, man. I loved John Wick 4. But we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about First Blood. And since we're done with the history section, because that's the last one, First Blood hasn't got a single release since 2022, which is pretty good, but at the same time, it's a Walmart exclusive. Although First Blood has kind of become a Walmart movie at this point, a lot of its exclusives past the 4K Steelbook set have been at Walmart, and that's a fate worse than death. Don't get me wrong, okay, Walmart's okay, or they used to be when it came to physical media. They, much like every other store in America, has downsized their physical media section. I remember when Walmart had rows and rows of physical media. They had a whole section dedicated to just TV shows. I mean, that's insane. I mean, they still kind of do, but it's just one little puny aisle of physical media stuff. They used to have rows of this. Can I just go on a tangent for just a brief moment? A Best Buy that is not close by my house, but not far away from it either. It's by the movie theater that I really like. I went into it the other day. I hadn't been in it for a long time because it was being completely remodeled from the ground up. And I walk into it thinking, you know what? It's a Tuesday. I'm going to see, Fast X today. And I had, an hour to kill. So I walked into Best Buy thinking, let's go see what's on store shelves. I wonder what's out today. There was not a single physical movie in that entire building. Believe me, I checked. There were physical video games. There were toys. No movies. Nothing. I checked in the home theater area. I checked in the home audio area. I even checked in the area where they sell refrigerators and microwaves. Not a damn Blu-ray or DVD anywhere in that store. Now, did I ask someone if they got rid of their physical media? No, because I didn't want to. But boy, oh boy, did I walk out of there feeling pissed, because there's just nothing. Although I really wasn't pissed, I was more sad because of the state of things right now. I miss the old days of Best Buy when I could walk in there and browse and browse and browse and just feel like I was unlocking a whole new area of a store, There were rows and rows of DVDs, Blu-rays, 4Ks, Steelbooks, stuff that you never saw anywhere else. and now it's gone. One of my Best Buys in my town no longer houses physical media, and it's probably not long until the other one doesn't either. It's sad. It really is sad, the state of physical media nowadays. People are just trusting these digital outlets to keep their movies on there for eternity. And guys, I don't know how many times I have to say this. You can't trust these digital outlets to keep your movies safe. The only person that you can trust to keep your movies safe is yourself. We talked about this during the live stream because of Disney Plus removing, close to 25% of their library. And it's not on any other streaming network. And a bunch of it doesn't have physical media releases. If you ever want to watch those movies or TV shows again, you're screwed. Boy, I did not intend for that to go into a whole philosophical discussion on the meaning of physical media, but I don't know how many times I have to say it. The only person that you can trust to keep your favorite movies is you. These studios will rip it away from you at any point when they feel it's necessary. When they are no longer making money from it, it is gone. Because these things are not art. Who them? They are commodities to be traded. Hell, it wouldn't shock me if a movie like First Blood vanished off of every streaming service in the blink of an eye. But you know what? I still have my physical copy. Right here in my hands. I'm holding it. You hear that? You hear that? I'm opening the case. You hear that? The disc, it's spinning because I have this. It's in my hand. It's my movie, and I can do whatever the fuck I want with it. The studio can't take it away from me. They can't barge into my house and demand I hand over my Blu-ray to them. Because it's mine. Anyway, I'm going to get off this topic now before I make this episode go on any longer because, this whole debate over, physical media sucks, get rid of it, everything is just digital now. But what if it disappears? What if it goes away forever? How are you ever going to watch that movie or TV show again? Trick question, you're not going to because you didn't take any time to back it up. Keep saying I'm going to get off this topic, but okay. You know what? Let's go ahead and move on to the close-up section for First Blood because I need a drink. I need a drink of this Prime right now because, that was a lot that I just said.
Yeah, alright everyone, here's your close-up look at Stallone in First Blood. Alright, so we're going to start off here with the Blu-ray label up there. Yeah, I really like Blu-ray. I think it's a good medium. I think that logo there's a little bit too big, but it ain't about being your best, it's about doing your best. I'm not going to do that through this whole close-up, but yeah, we do have a Blu-ray disc logo up there. Sylvester Stallone, First Blood, beautiful shot of Rambo there on the front. And then down here we have 1080p, beyond high definition. Technically that would be 4K because 1080p is HD. I mean, it's the highest version of HD that you can get. 720p was technically HD as well. This, I believe, is an early Blu-ray release. I don't know if it's the original one. It could also be a reprint. I'm not sure, though, but it does have the original artwork there. The spine, portrait of Rambo from the front, Stallone, First Blood, and then Blu-ray disc logo down there at the bottom, and then a Maple logo. I guess that's the company that financed this film. You'll notice that the spine is a matte gray. My Rambo 3 Blu-ray spine has a shiny gray on it. I don't know which one is the original print or the reprint. So, yeah, there's that. I think I bought this used at FYE a few years ago. Or more than a few years ago, actually. So we've got a breakdown of your behind-the-scenes stuff there, as well as your widescreen aspect ratio, some tech specs and stuff, and then system requirements. I thought system requirements were just for playing computer games, not for watching a Blu-ray disc. You got a barcode there and then a couple of screenshots from the movie, as well as a blurb there. He never fought a battle he couldn't win. And then a little
blurb about the movie, cast and crew information down there, and some more tech specs. And if we open this up, we have another little portrait of Rambo there on the inside. That's actually on the insert. It's not on the Blu-ray case, but it is cool that the case makes it seem like it's blue. And then there's your disc. It looks like a squished up version of the poster art. However, folks, as Kylo Ren once said, we're not done yet. Because I have a VHS tape of First Blood to show you here. This is not from my own personal collection. I'm currently staying over at my aunt and uncle's house, watching over their dog for this next week when I'm recording this close up. I'll be gone by the time that this video actually comes out, so I guess this is irrelevant information for you, but this tape is actually on loan from my uncle's personal VHS collection, so it's not mine, but I do have it here for the purpose of showing you what a VHS tape of First Blood looks like. I hope to own my own copy one day as well, but for now, let's take a look at my uncle's tape here. You have a portrait of Stallone up there, First Blood, and then some price stickers here. My uncle never took the cellophane off of the top of this. You can still get to the tape though. So I'm not going to take it off just in case he wants it that way. But there's some dates there. I guess this at one point was $8.99. I'm not quite sure what all of those numbers mean, but there is an A there, so I guess that means this got an A cinema score. This is really cool artwork, though. I'd love to have a tape like this at some point in my own collection. The spine, Avid Home Entertainment, a portrait of Rambo from the movie. Oh, wait, it's actually the same portrait that's inside the Blu-ray. Huh, look at that crossover there. You have Stallone, First Blood, VHS Hi-Fi, some watermarks here that are actually on the seal from Avid Home Video or Live Home Video. The spine, a couple more screenshots. That one is particularly brutal. So is that one. What is up with this? This is all of people getting either like sliced or killed. But you got your barcode up there on the top. First Blood, a blurb about the movie, cast and crew information, and some tech specs down there, and then a gas station exploding. What is up with the back of this? So much murder going on. And the other side, you can see the First Blood logo more there, and the top, First Blood up there as well. And there's what your sticker label looks like. Not a lot of tape in here since this is only a 90-minute movie. So since we have a VHS tape here, let's go ahead and take a look at some footage for First Blood, and then we'll jump into our menu tour.
You don't seem to want to accept the fact that you're dealing with an expert in guerrilla warfare. With a man who's the best. With guns, with knives, with his bare hands. A man who's been trained to ignore pain, ignore weather, to live off the land, to eat things that'll make a billy goat puke. In Vietnam, his job was to dispose of enemy personnel, to kill, period.
All right, folks, here's your menu tour of First Blood. Now tell me why this menu looks like an early PS2 cutscene. I mean, not the footage playing in the background. No. This log and knife here on the front that keeps moving around. Like, I think we're supposed to be in Rambo's first-person view. But, wow, this looks like one of those shooter games that you play in an arcade. Like, you shoot the deer and stuff. You have to shoot the bucks, but don't shoot the cow or something. Like, this just looks bad. Early Blu-ray menus were weird, man. And then First Blood, for some reason, is like fading in and out of the screen. Like it's not a full-on logo, and it's in the most generic font possible. This is just a weird menu. But it does give you all your options right there on front. You have main feature, scene index out of the blue trivia, drawing First Blood, which I assume is a behind-the-scenes featurette, deleted scenes and Blu-ray trailers. I also have some audio options here. We have a English 5.1 track, a English 5.1 DTS HD track, French 5.1 track, audio commentary with Sylvester Stallone, and audio commentary with the writer David Morrell. Subtitles, we have English, Spanish, and that's it. I almost said French. I thought that little Blu-ray logo down there was actually an option, but it's not. It's just a little watermark there. Scene index. Oh, look, it gives you your own little page. It's like a DVD. But at least every scene has a title, a number, and a little screenshot there, and it's all on one page. We have 30 scenes there, 29 if you don't count the credits, which in this movie, the credits are kind of part of the movie. So the deleted scenes option, it doesn't have its own menu. I think this is all just one big video file, because it says 5 minutes down there. I doubt that this entire deleted scene runs 5 minutes, but I don't think it has its own menu. Well, I know it doesn't have its own menu. Yeah, it's all just one big file here. I skipped ahead a couple of scenes, and I think this is an extended scene from the extended scene we just watched earlier. There was a scene earlier where Sylvester Stallone was cutting up a piece of meat. He was hiding in a cave or something, and now I've skipped ahead to the last deleted scene, as you can see here, and it's the same scene as we saw earlier, except now Stallone is holding a 1911. Like I said, early Blu-ray menus were weird. I'm honestly not sad to see this style of menu go. I mean, it just keeps replaying the footage in the background of the guys walking through the forest. Or I guess the cops, because they're looking for Rambo, right? It's been a while since I've watched First Blood. I haven't watched it yet for this review at the time of recording this menu tour, but oh my gosh, I'm not sad to see this menu style go. As a matter of fact, I pray for Warner Brothers style of menus now. At least that was consistent. That wraps up your menu tour. Let's move right along to the end wrap-up and answer the 5 main questions, as always. All right, so we're back from the close-up. Now it's time to answer the 5 main questions, as always. Number 1. Where can you pick this product up? Well, apparently the 5 movie collection just got reprinted and is on store shelves at Walmart right now, or it was earlier on in the year. There could be some lingering copies around in your area. I haven't seen them in my area, but they could be in yours. I'm going to say your best bet, though, is a used DVD or Blu-ray store, like a Half Price Books, something like that. Number 2, is this product still being printed nowadays? This is a technicality, but I'm going to say yes, because it was reprinted earlier this year. You could go out there and buy it. And feasibly, there could be some overstock of the 2022 slipcover reprint. Number 3, should you pick this product up? First Blood is kind of like the black sheep of the Rambo franchise, because it's not a pure action, adrenaline-fueled movie. It's a more simplistic story about a veteran who's been spit on ever since he got back from the Vietnam War and is now at his breaking point. When I first saw First Blood, I was expecting guns, violence, blood, explosions, so many things that I didn't get from it. It was too slow for me. There wasn't enough action, too many talky scenes, not enough explosions. But now, looking at it from an older perspective and knowing just how deeply personal this story is to the author who wrote it, who's David Morrell, I think is his name, as he wrote the book that First Blood is based off of. Wow. First Blood is fantastic. Sylvester Stallone plays John Rambo so well throughout this movie. He starts off with this kind of meek, mild-mannered personality as he's just kind of drifting through the United States of America. He ends up at his former army friend's house and finds out that his friend is dead. Agent Orange got him. And this is a turning point for John Rambo. After this, he kind of starts to become what he was in Vietnam, a ruthless killer. And it's only when he's spit on by Brian Dennehy's Deputy Teasel character that he starts to just go off. And Dennehy plays his role very well too. I think this guy's despicable for how he treats John Rambo. It could be said though, and I've heard this said before, Teasel's character doesn't have a lot of reason to hate Rambo. As far as it goes in the movie, he hates him because he has a mullet and he's a drifter. And I kind of agree with that criticism. I feel there could have been a more heavy reason for why Brian Dennehy doesn't want Vietnam veterans in his town. Maybe he thinks that they're all ruthless, violent killers because that's how the media portrayed them as. That's what people thought of Vietnam vets because the media lied about them. That's how Rambo has been treated ever since he got back from the war. He says that in his monologue at the very end of the movie. But as it stands, the Teasel versus Rambo rivalry here, it's very well done for what it is. Then Rambo winds up at the police station and they just treat him like an animal. And again, you feel for Rambo as you're seeing these prison flashbacks from when he was a POW in a Vietnamese army camp and he's being cut with the knife and just being beaten relentless. It's very powerful stuff because, wow, you see what goes on inside of Rambo's head. You see what he's thinking. He's having these PTSD-style flashbacks because he's lived through this and now he's living through it again. So, of course, he's going to go off on these cops. And when he does, shoot, I'm rooting for him. I'm rooting for the guy who hasn't done anything wrong, as Rambo relentlessly states throughout the movie. But I didn't do anything. That's all he says. And he's right. He didn't do anything. But these cops, they hate him because... I guess because he's a Vietnam vet. The car chase through the mountains, though, is a bit Dukes of Hazzard. It's very one shot, one camera angle type thing. It's very much like let's set up a shot here and have the car rush past, and then we'll move the camera down a couple of paces and we'll reset everything up again and we'll have the car come through again. It wasn't continuous like action scenes on motorcycles are shot nowadays, but it's a relic of the past, man. It was kind of cool to see. And knowing that they actually made those cars jump and the stuntman that was on the motorcycle actually like flipped over and stuff, like, it's cool stuff. Practical filmmaking. It's always better than CG, at least in my opinion. I gotta say though, those traps that Rambo sets for the cops in that forest area, that stuff was brutal. The guy who walks into the trap where the spiked branches come over and impale his legs, oh, that gets me every time. I squirm every single time I see that because, I like feel it in my legs too, like, oh, that's gotta hurt. And yeah, the guy's not dead, but he probably will never walk again. It's like back in Terminator 2 when Arnold shoots one of the guys in the legs and goes, he'll live. Yeah, but he'll be in a wheelchair for the rest of his life. However, it does show that Rambo is somewhat honorable. He's not killing these cops. He's trying to hold himself back from doing that. He doesn't want to be what he was in Vietnam, but he gets closer and closer with every cop that gets near him. Then Richard Crenna shows up, playing Colonel Troutman. I love Richard Crenna in this role. He has such a powerful voice behind him. He plays this role with gravitas. I love all of his monologues about how I didn't come here to rescue Rambo from you. I came to rescue you from him. Well, God didn't create Rambo. I did. The one good thing that I can say about Rambo 2 and 3 is the fact that Richard Crenna is in those movies and he does great in those too, but I love him here. He's amazing. It really shows character too, that all Rambo is trying to do is run away from these cops. He's trying to get out of this town because all he wanted was a hot meal, and then he got arrested for doing nothing, and now he's trying to escape. The turning point is when he's attacked in the cave. He tries to just settle down and have a nice meal just by himself with his fire, and then boom, the cave gets exploded. So then he runs out, and then He must have seen Raiders of the Lost Ark the year before, because he jumps into that army truck and throws the guy out and starts driving the truck because he's going back into town. He is gonna unleash hell. And this is the part where I kind of turn on Rambo a little bit, because the townspeople, they didn't do anything to him. It's the cops that did stuff to him. And the fact that he's going in and blowing up gas stations and stuff like that, it's a little too far for me. I start to think, maybe Rambo's not the guy I should be rooting for here, because the townspeople, they didn't do anything to him. They're just caught in the crossfire. They're collateral damage, to be more specific. But, those practical explosions with that gas station, they were stupendous. Again, practical filmmaking. Always better than CG. But the thing that gets it for me every time is Stallone's perfectly delivered monologue to Colonel Troutman at the end. Nothing is over! Nothing! You just don't turn it off! Are there some parts that are kind of hard to hear? Yeah. Does he mumble a bit too much? Yeah. But man, is that so powerful, the way he talks about he's the last surviving member of his unit and all of his friends and him had been just shit on ever since they got back from the war. And the way Troutman just listens. He doesn't try to shoot him or pull out his gun and kill him or try to, have him walk out or anything. He just listens to what Rambo has to say. And that's something that no one has done throughout this entire movie. They've all just shot first and asked questions later, but Troutman is able to actually listen to what Rambo has to say. And what he has to say, it's pretty powerful stuff. Stallone is no acting thespian, but this is one of his best performances. This and the first Rocky film, jewels in his crown, I have to say. And the way Stallone surrenders himself just willingly, he walks away with Troutman. It's such a powerful ending. I love First Blood so much. And it's surprising because when I first saw it again, I didn't like it very much because it didn't have a lot of action. It didn't have a lot of pew, 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 explosion, woo. But it's so much more than just a mindless action film. There's action in it, and the action in it is really well done. The stunt work is good. I like the old-timey sound of effects for guns that don't sound realistic whatsoever. But there's so much more here. And there are so many more people on YouTube who have done better analysis videos of First Blood than I could ever do right here. It's a powerful story about how one man gets pushed just too far. Gets pushed to the brink and he's knocked over the edge, and what the consequences of that are. I feel for John Rambo throughout this entire film, and I absolutely recommend that you watch First Blood. It is the best Rambo movie that's ever been made because it actually has some heart to it. The other ones are pretty much just mindless action films, those last two especially. But this one is so special and so good. More people need to appreciate First Blood for what it is. Don't think of Rambo as a mindless action franchise. That's not how it started. It started as a smart, sophisticated film about a down-on-his-luck veteran who gets pushed too far. I feel like I say this with every movie in this season, but First Blood is one of my new favorites. And it kind of always has been, but since watching it for this review, I can confidently say I love First Blood. And again, if you haven't seen it, go watch it right now, because it's amazing. It's also a lean 90 minutes, and you don't feel any of that length. It is so perfect, except for the Teasel thing, and maybe some of Stallone's acting, but other than that, it's so good. Go watch it right now, please. I will say, though, my Blu-ray doesn't look all that hot. It looks like an upgraded DVD transfer. There's not a lot of detail there. It's kind of blurry in some scenes. I hear good things about the 4K, though, so I might upgrade. I see the 4K a lot during Black Friday sales, so maybe this year will be the year I pull the trigger on First Blood. It is my favorite of the Rambo franchise, and it's kind of the only one I would ever want to own on 4K. I own the fifth one on 4K. That's just because that was the new thing when it came out, so I grabbed that on 4K. But maybe this year will finally be the year I pull the trigger. I feel like it will be. Number 4, where should you pick this product up? Same answers as number 1. And number 5, what price should you pay? Well, the 4K for this is relatively common. Like I said, I see it on a lot of Black Friday sales around here. It's usually on sale for about $6 to $8, so I'd say I'd pay 10. You know what? I'll cap it at 10. If I found it with a slipcover, though, 15 probably. The Blu-ray is not that hard to find. I think I paid $5 for mine, so about that is what I'd say. For the original Blu-ray, though, I feel like there might have been some tweaks done to the newer Blu-ray. I don't know. I can't confirm that, though. But if you find the Blu-ray from 2015 onward, that one I feel like might be better. And that Blu-ray is actually more prevalent on like modern day store shelves, like the one from Walmart. That one probably has a better transfer than the one from 2007 that I have. I'd say probably about the same price, 5 to 10 for that. That'd be pretty good. DVD, don't even bother. Special thanks to my uncle for letting me borrow his First Blood VHS to show here on Home Media Reviews. It's been a few weeks since I shot that close-up. It is now back in his collection. So, folks, that wraps up the Home Media Review for First Blood, a movie that I love. I'm rediscovering a bunch of movies I didn't think I'd love. Speed? Yeah, love that movie. The Rock? Love that movie. Terminator 2? I've always loved that movie, but now I love it even more. And First Blood. Love this movie. So what are we talking about next week, ladies and gentlemen? Well, you guys know for every season of Home Media Reviews, I take one episode out of our 14 episode run and look at a franchise. I look at multiple films. I'm sure a lot of you think that you know what this multiple movie episode is gonna be. I'm sure you're all screaming, he's gonna talk about John Wick! You don't know how much I wish I could talk about John Wick, because I rewatched all 3 of those movies leading up to John Wick 4. They're all great. I love all those films so much. But unfortunately, John Wick 4 isn't out on physical media yet, and this show is focused on movies on physical media that are in my collection right now. I don't have John Wick 4 on 4K yet, so I can't talk about it. I could talk about the other 3, but then it wouldn't be complete now, would it? And I wouldn't be able to live with myself. So instead, I picked another franchise. One that has 3 movies instead of 4, and one that is relatively well known. Well, mostly for the memes. Specifically this one. I will find you, and I will kill you. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, next week we're talking about the Taken trilogy. A franchise that really shouldn't exist because the first one was totally fine, and the other 2, I don't remember liking very much. This will be like my 4th time seeing the first Taken and my 2nd time seeing Taken 2 and 3. Because the first time I watched those, I nearly puked out of my eye sockets. I hope to see you all there next week for the Taken trilogy. Thank you all so very much for watching, and as always, good night, everybody. These days, you can't really find a CED player out there on the market. It was a relatively... Good Lord. Well, that wasn't very good, was it? Sorry about that. The microphone just decided to randomly fall over. Okay, phew. I just ran a really long extension cord into my closet to stop my computer from dying because, wow. This is what happens, kids, when you don't charge your technology before you try to record for something that's, holy shit, almost 52 minutes long. I don't know how long this episode is going to be, but the raw audio file, this is a little behind the scenes information for you, is about 20 seconds under 52 minutes.